Are we almost set? Because if we are, could you all rise and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for indulging us in that. We are now back in open session from closed session. I'm looking at it, but I'm sure I'm going to entertain a motion for student discipline.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the finding of the board in student case number 23-21-0203.
Thank you. I have a motion and maybe a second.
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion and second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes.
Mrs. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
And Dr. Ashton?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. We are missing Pastor Miller this evening. And he's busy. So, that brings us to item number 4, the consent agenda. We have a couple changes to the consent agenda. We would like to remove or pull item. What is it here? Is it Human Resources? 4F1. And the only part we're pulling is the extracurricular assignments, correct?
One item out of the extracurricular assignment. Is that correct, Ms.
That's
Schrader?
correct.
Yes, and that item is, I have to say it, the Human Relations Club. DHS Human Relations Club, GSA 1 of 1 from DHS. We're going to pull that out and consider that separately. And we then also, the other change to this, if I'm not mistaken, is that we will come back after open session, go back into closed session. We will take no action on anything, but we have more closed session items after the meeting that we must take care of. So, do I have a motion for that, to approve that consent agenda with those changes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that or questions? Seeing none, okay, the two changes are going back into closed session and removing the Human Relations Club. And then we will take and entertain that motion right after this. We'll do it right after public comment, so it'll be 5A, B, whatever it'll be. Roll call vote, please. Thanks, Lakeisha. I want to mention your name every now and then. I don't think we get to say your name, so I'm going to say it every time. No, thanks, Lakeisha. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Terry?
Yes.
Elder Park?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes.
Dr. Ashton?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you. That brings us to item number 5, public comments. May I remind everybody the public comments are limited to 5 minutes? And who do we have?
Lisa Barron?
Good evening, Board, Dr. Geddes, District 118 Families and Supporters. My name is Lisa Barron. Tonight, I am bringing to light some gross negligence and incompetence by this board. Dr. Geddes and the Food Service Director, Zeta Peugeot. On September 7th of 2022, Zeta Peugeot proposed to the board with a signature from approval from Dr. Geddes that the procurement of produce in the amount of $40,000 and dairy in the amount of $270,000 for the 2023 school year be approved. Only Mr. Easton had questioned if there were 3 bids or 1 as stated in the produce bid and asked which was correct. Zeta mentioned that the 3 bids were correct and the document was wrong. He asked where the bids were. She did not have them with her. What was the difference between all 3 bids, he asked. And she began to mention how she compares the bids based on the produce itself. He did recommend that she bring them with her next time. And then the roll call vote proceeded without proof of any of the bids. So that's kind of the red flag that got me into investigating what's going on here. The dairy proposal went much the same way, with only 1 bid being received and questioned why. Ms. Peugeot said that she even posted the bid twice, but there's no record of that. So additional failures of this board and food service. The produce proposal stated 1 bid was received. Again, Ms. Peugeot said there were 3. Produce and dairy bids were not published twice in the News Gazette, as Zeta stated in the board meeting on 9/7. They were only listed once in the commercial news on Saturday, August 13th, 2022. Of the 3 bids reportedly obtained for produce, there were only 2 provided per my FOIA request. Piazza Food or Produce, being the lowest bid, was stamped as received a day late, but delivery confirmation from the post office shows the Piazza's bid was received a day early at 9:28 a.m., the same day as Central Illinois Produce, as stamped and received. I encouraged Piazza to file a bid protest since they were the lowest bid of all 2. The 3 price comparisons from Piazza were incorrectly reported higher on the final bid tally, even though it didn't matter because they were not chosen. And Central Illinois Produce's invitation to bid spec sheet had the wrong due date on it. Gordon Foods, the highest bidder, was chosen to be the produce supplier for 2023. However, a copy of the bid did not exist per my FOIA request. So how is the board approving a produce bid without even seeing the actual bid? In this case, there isn't one. So who knows? Is there something else going on behind the scenes that we aren't aware of? Further investigation by the Illinois State Board of Education probably will reveal that. Dr. Geddes and the board should be held accountable, and an investigation into potential fraud should be forthcoming from the ISBE. And I encourage all District 118 families to go back and watch the September 7th Board of Education meeting and see for yourselves. And I have documents that you can compare notes with as you do so. Our taxpayer dollars fund these programs, and there is a reason the Illinois State Board of Education procurement policies are in place. Zeta Peugeot makes $94,000 a year to do sloppy work. There's no bids presented at a board meeting where she's asking for a proposal to be approved. The board, also sloppy in their due diligence, not asking or requiring a review of these bids. And Dr. Geddes, your name signed off as concurring with the produce bid and the dairy bid. And that's negligent as well. I don't know what bid you saw from Gordon Foods, but it didn't exist. There needs to be accountability, and we must shine a spotlight on the failures of the board and Dr. Geddes to initiate real change. Stay tuned, because there's more. Illinois State Board of Education has done reviews with Zeta Peugeot before at the former district she came from in Dolton. 20 citations were issued in that instance. So they were very eager to hear from me. So in closing, I hope everyone listening, watching, I hope you all hold this board and Dr. Geddes accountable. Thank you.
Matt Thompson, Allison Rice.
Hi, good evening. I'm Matt Thompson, the new Vice President of the DEA.
I'm Alyssa Wright, Mark Denman, second grade teacher.
And my other hat is I'm a third grade teacher at Mark Denman School. 15 years I've been in that building. We miss you, Miss Carrie, in our lunchroom. We're just here tonight to share some of the great things going on in our building. So if you will indulge us for a few minutes. We're going to share some of the things our kids are doing. I went around today and talked to the teachers in the different grade levels. Our kindergarten teachers are working on foundations. They're doing a writing activity called What We Know, and they're modeling the 6 traits of writing. I was really excited to hear that because it brought up the whole AVID and what we do with AVID and how we try to use common language and we try to articulate across grade levels so that our kids are seeing the same types of organizers and the same ways of approaching things so that it makes the learning easier for them. And as I went through, I was seeing several examples of that. So what we're doing for AVID after several years is permeating through our grade levels. So that was really exciting for me since I'm on the AVID committee to see that that's happening. And that is part of our AVID evaluation. First grade is doing readers theater. The kids are acting out different stories. I had a picture of Miss Longhorn's room I wanted to send around. She did her room in the 3 Little Pigs. She said one pig ran out of air, so that's why there's only 2. But just pretend one's in the house. But they make the houses out of different materials. They use straw, sticks, and sugar cubes, and then they used a fan or something to blow the house in or whatever. I thought it sounded really fun. I wish I was in her first grade class. And then they're also doing Smecken's writing, talking about the 3 types of problems that come up in a story. That was part of our training from this summer at French Lick, which I got to go to. It was really awesome. I'm going to hand it off to second grade, and then we'll come back to third.
In second grade, we are working on embedding Costas levels, which is an AVID strategy with what we've learned from our Smecken's conference that we went to this summer. We're organizing everything with our Nikki folders that go home and back and forth to school, keeping our desks organized. They're using binders, and we're using graphic organizers to organize our thinking. We're using all kinds of wicker strategies, and the kids are able to identify where they fall underneath what letter. And we also just did an interactive classroom flip with our fairy tale thing. I think Mr. Lockhart told you guys about that the last time he was here. And now we're starting our animal habitat unit, so the kids are going to have an opportunity to do dioramas with their families, and then we will have another exciting interactive classroom flip coming up in November, so we'll be back to invite you guys to come and check that out as well.
All right, back to third grade, the grade I teach. We did, each third grade class does a chapter book each year. My class did Stone Fox. My class makes summary books of each chapter. It gives them good practice with picking out what's most important. Then they have to draw a picture of their favorite setting from the story on the back. I got permission from both of these students to share these with you if you want to pass them around so the board can see those. And then Miss Jones did The Invisible Kid, and her kids also did a follow-up activity. The story's about a kid who feels like nobody sees him, and then throughout the story, he starts to get noticed and different things happen. So here's a couple cartoon strips or comic strips that the kids made to tell the story. We've been working on our online SEL lessons in third grade. And also we've been working on opinion essays, which, I don't know if I brought those or not. No, I didn't bring those. But anyway, they had to pick their favorite restaurant. They had to draw a picture of it, and then they had to write a letter to their parents convincing them to take them there. And that was one of the other third grade teachers' great ideas, but they shared it with me, so our class did it. Fourth grade, they are working on COSTA levels of questioning. They're working on second step lessons, specifically on having empathy for others, which they felt was a big thing that the kids can use. And positive conversations, just having positive conversations. They're also using BIST. We also use that in third grade. Our awesome principal, Ms. Salers, gave us a review of that at the beginning of the year. And then fourth grade is also doing research on having the kids do research and using technology for research. And I brought a sample of one of their projects also to share. Our TAs have been helping in kindergarten and first grade. They are getting ready to start small groups. And I did notice that several of the grade levels are using the Smecken's reading training that they sent us to. That was really, really good training. Our Are we out of time? Oh, I want to end with inviting you to our spooktacular, so I have an invitation for everybody for that coming up on the 27th. Hope some of you can make that. Thanks.
Good job.
Thank you. This is fun. Stone Fox.
To Dr. Geddes and Dr. Ashton and the school board. My name is Ken McCray. I am senior pastor at Higher Dimension Faith Center, and I moonlight at the University of Illinois in Human Resources. Been there for 5 years. I have two things I wanted to present, or at least get your guidance and direction on how to pursue this. University of Illinois has a summer program. It's a crafts and trade area. They do it every year. Upon arriving at the University of Illinois, I found out about it about a year after arriving there. And I petitioned for them to open that up to Danville. They gave me pushback for about 3 years. Finally, this year, they gave opportunity for Danville High School students to participate. However, it was really too far in the program to really get them in. So I'm hoping that this year we can get started in preparation for next year. It's a wonderful opportunity for seniors. They gave me pushback because they said that the barrier is transportation. But they reach out to Rantoul and in Champaign. They found out this year that it doesn't matter whether you're in Champaign or Rantoul, transportation is still a problem. So I shared with them our church would volunteer transportation. And if worse came to worse, I think Dr. Ashton would let us use his car. But
Anytime. Careful what you ask for. Yeah.
as long as they don't have to get out and
Yeah.
push, we're good.
That's what I meant.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Everyone is not suited to go to a secondary school. Some people just are better at crafts and trades. And I think it will be a good opportunity for at least 5 people. But it has to get started soon so that they'll know what the expectations are. They can arrange for their travel. They can determine whether or not there's something they're willing to commit to. So I'm hoping that, I don't know if this is the setting for it or not, but I'm hoping you can direct me to someone that I can connect to the representative there at University of Illinois and get them started in this program.
That would be me.
That would be you?
I'm Dr. Jacoby. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Secondary School, so that's Danville High School.
Okay,
And I absolutely can make that happen.
okay. That would be great. Do you have a card?
Not on me, but I don't usually bring them to board meeting. I will get one for you though,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, because I'm like a bulldog, so,
Tenacity, I like it.
yeah. Because I've called twice, and that's why I'm here now, because I didn't get the response that I needed, so,
You called.
the school
Oh,
district.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and the second thing is, before my time runs out, is that our church and my family would like to do a Renee McCray scholarship. That's my late wife, and we want to do a $1,000 scholarship. I remember previously that there was a spot in the year where scholarships were awarded. I don't know how to get there.
Well, we'll help you with that also.
Okay. Same person?
Yeah.
That would be
Okay,
good.
we're gonna work you hard.
That's all right, not a problem.
We'll make it as easy as possible for you.
Okay, I appreciate it. But those are two things I wanted to present, and I just chose this forum to present it in. And look forward to working with you on it. Now, with the University of Illinois, I'm just gonna connect you to the representative. Once that part is done, my job is done. But I will watch you all.
It's all right. Alumni, I'm good with it.
Okay,
I'm gonna go get you a card.
okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
See how that works?
Yes.
You're gonna have all sorts of names. Ma'am, who spoke first, okay? If you have written synopsis of what you have, send it to me.
I'm actually going to address it. It's on the agenda, and I think if anyone had bothered to return my call,
Yeah.
you would have gotten the information you needed. So why don't we just wait for the agenda to
Yeah,
proceed?
okay. Well, just want to let her know. We're reset.
She emailed us.
Yeah, I know. Okay, anything, Lakeisha? That it? Okay. That will bring us to 5AB, which is the Human Resources Club or
Human Relations Club.
Human Relations Club.
So, do you want me to address
Yeah, I
this?
mean, so we,
I'm the one who asked for this to be removed, at least for the moment, from the consent agenda, so that we could have Ms. Pabst take a look at the actual name of the club. It appears that there are maybe two names to the club, and we just want to do a little bit more digging to see what exactly it is that we're approving. I would expect to see it back the next time we get together, or one of these times soon. Do you need anything beyond that?
Extracurricular committee?
so can we automatically just remove it and move and address at the next? Okay, we're okay with that.
And
Because I don't
Miss-
think we need to have a motion for that if that's okay. All right.
Yeah.
As long as there's no, if
And
there's
Mrs.
no
Schro-
dissent from the board, I think we can move.
Yeah, and Mrs. Schroeder, just so you know, that revamp is part of the extracurricular committee negotiations that are going on right now that will be coming back to the board.
Oh, perfect. So timing's probably just
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay,
Excellent.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark Denman.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark Denman.
See you at the spooktacular. I hope it's spooky. I'm scared already. I'm scared for the next 2.5 weeks. Happy pre-Halloween bite-sized candy day is what that is. Isn't it one of the best holidays for a dentist? Right? I mean, really, you can't ask for anything better than the whole United States is passing out candy. Don't put that on TV. Yeah, I'll go ahead. What the heck? All right, that brings us to, I like this. This is a self-serving motion. Approval of board travel. And I'll read it. Request approval of the Board of Education members, me, Dr. Randall Ashton, Shannon Schrader, and Chris Eason, travel expenses to the joint annual conference to be held in Guam.
No.
Oh, then I want to be on.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody wants to go. Chicago, here, I love this. When our board goes, we go to Chicago. That's that really long distance exotic meeting. Held in Chicago on November 17th through the 20th of this year, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving. It's the annual, not state, it's not the school board, it's the Association of School
Illinois
School
Association of
Boards,
School
yeah.
Boards, Illinois Association of School Business
For
Officials,
its state meeting,
and Illinois
so
Association of School Administrators.
we have a motion to approve, can we have a motion to approve our travel for?
So move.
Second.
Oh, that's so kind of you. So a motion and a second, any questions or comments?
You will bring back everything that you've learned, right?
Hmm.
Share it
And more,
and more.
and more.
Okay.
So, it is a valuable meeting, we do appreciate that. And this is
I need a bigger space.
yeah, our attempt at transparency on this issue. So, roll call vote, please, for approval of our going to the state conference.
Terry,
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader,
Yes.
Dr. Parks,
Yes.
Mrs. Holland,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
and Dr. Ashton.
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much. I'll stay home if you want. I do. You know I'm going there. Number 7, policies. This is press policy issue 109. There's some interesting things, and this is just to give it to us, though, right?
Yep, so this is the first read. We received this from Press, which is part of the Illinois Association of School Boards. There are 48 policies under consideration. 6 of them actually have policy changes in response to the legal updates and the 5-year review that they do every year of all of their policies. 8 policies are unchanged. 30 of them are simply procedural footnotes and legal reference exhibit type changes. And then one is, I couldn't quite figure out what they were really saying is the change there. So I'm just going to say of the 48, one is questionable and 3 were simply renamed. You'll notice that reference sheet that Lakeisha gives you kind of does a great job outlining to let you know which are under the 5-year review updates, the others that are due to legislative, administrative rule changes, etc. So that's a great place to start taking a look at what they're asking you to consider. And there are a couple that actually have questions that we have to answer as a part of accepting the
Okay,
policy.
one of the first ones here was timely about the about public meetings and the limiting the time for public participation or public comments.
Yep, probably.
And we are going to have to make a decision or no decision, but I mean there are if you get a chance to read through it, but there are opinions on having a limit to public comments, as we've seen in the last year or two. Sometimes it gets kind of lengthy. There are wordage here for a 30 or 60-minute limit for public comments. And then there's also some very timely stuff in here about what should be allowed and disallowed in public comments. So we should go through that. But we will have to make some sort of decision as we go on here what our board recommendation is. So we don't have to do that this evening, though. So, and we won't. All right.
That's it.
Next, that should bring us to, once I hit agenda, and brings us to
HR.
8, human resources.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Geddes. I'm Kimberly Papps, Director of Human Resources. Tonight, what we have for you is a memorandum of agreement. You have seen this before, however, it stated teaching assistants instead of non-certified staff. This is the same one as the teaching assistants. We've changed the verbiage to say non-certified staff members that are student teaching will be able to remain as an employee of ours, getting their insurance and their same pay while they're student teaching in the district. So their job is still there when they are finished with student teaching. Again, it's just like the one that was for teaching assistants, but this broadens it to non-certified staff. So our home liaisons, we have one person participating in this right now. So the only change is the verbiage from TA to non-certified.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, we're voting on MOA non-cert staff to student teacher. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Schrader,
Yes.
Elder Park,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Mrs. Holland,
Yes.
Mrs. Carey,
Yes.
and Dr. Ashton.
Yes.
Can I ask a question now?
Certainly, motion passes 6-0. Go ahead.
Thank you. Is there an effort to recruit more people to the program?
Is there an effort? I mean, just district-wide, well, of course, I know
District-wide.
principals are, well, I already know one principal's already given us the secretary, Ms. Brooks, who's coming in, who's already called and is waiting for tonight, actually, so that they can do their student teaching here. We have 6, I'm sorry, we have 6 right now that are student teaching, in hopes that they come back, January and join us. We need teachers. We also need teaching assistants. Well, I mean, we need everybody right now. But we're doing well. But yes, within our own buildings, we are recruiting left and right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I could always report out with that information if necessary, the next one too.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to item 8B, dismissal of educational support personnel for reasons other than reduction in force. I have a motion to approve the resolution of dismissal of educational support personnel employee Terry Weiss for reasons other than reduction in force. Do I have a second for this motion?
Second.
Okay, any discussion or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Holland,
No.
Mrs. Schrader,
Yes.
Elder Park,
Yes.
Mr. Easton,
Yes.
Mrs. Carey,
Yes.
Dr. Ashton.
Yes, motion passes 5-1. Thank you. That brings us to item number 9, curriculum. Purchase of Gale ebook collections. And you have a recommendation.
Yes, I do. Good evening, Board, Dr. Geddes. I would like your consideration for the recommendation of Gale ebooks tonight. These are, as they say, they're ebooks for K through 12 for our students, and they're like an online learning library for us, just as we have a hardcover library system in our district. This would have been fabulous to have had when we were virtual a few years ago, or a year ago. It works just like a normal library. This library collection that Mr. Roskovinsky has put together really focuses on nonfiction texts and some fiction, but really making sure that we have resources available to our students virtually. And so we would really like for you to approve this for us. And I could probably tell you how much it costs if you want to know, and where the money's coming from.
We need to know how much it costs,
Okay.
only if you want us to approve
Yes.
this.
Okay, so the cost of it this evening is $122,000, $122,765,000. It's a 1-year purchase. And we get to have those forever then when we get those. The maintenance fee after that yearly is $150 a year for the entire district. So, and the nice thing is this is a perfect thing for us to use our ESSER funds for. So the initial cost is probably something that would have been difficult for us to do normally, but because we have the ESSER funds, it's a wise investment for us to do because the maintenance fee is $150 a year after that. So it's very manageable for us to do, and it'll be a great resource for us to use. The great part about this too is the ebooks can be embedded right into Google Classroom, and so that's just as fabulous. So if we were to have a snow day, as well, the teachers could embed some books right into the Google Classrooms, and the teachers could use those together collaboratively with the students. So there's lots of options with it.
Juno,
We have a motion to
I
approve.
move approval.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Now, questions, comments?
Sorry. So, does each student get a subscription or?
So it works just like a regular library, like our regular library in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So the students would be able to use their login like they do when they go to the library to check out a book, like in the same way that they would check out an ebook. So
So
it
I
would
could-
be attached to their
Login?
yeah,
The district login.
yeah.
So I'm at home
Mm-hmm.
and Ms. Schroeder assigns me to read 10 chapters out of a particular book. And there's 26 kids in this class. Can all of them access?
Yes, I believe so, because it would be embedded into the class.
Okay.
I didn't think about it that way when Mr. Roskovinsky and I were talking about it. I was thinking more like the library. The kids can go into the library site, just that like they go into, like I was thinking like virtual library. They can go into our virtual library systems that they set up last year during COVID. And they can go in and check out like ebooks, just like they would go walk into a library and check out real books.
Mhm.
And so it works just like that. So I would assume that you could do the same thing, but I didn't think about that, about the students reading the same book all at once. So I can ask that and get back to you.
Okay.
But I would think that would, because we have the licenses of them. We own those books, just like we would own the books that are in our library.
So the big question, I think, is, do we own 3 copies of Tom Sawyer, or do we own infinite copies of Tom Sawyer with
It's-
this program?
I don't think it's necessarily like a copy, like you would think like a single copy. It's just that's in our system.
The
So
right to read it.
once it's in our system, we can,
Access it.
yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And you said it was a one-time purchase?
This purchase, yeah, this will be, we don't, I believe there's more books. We could expand and get more books if we wanted to. But this is a fairly significant collection that we've put together. But these books will stay in our collection as long as we maintain that $150, and that's again the K through 12 for the whole district.
What I would like for you to get an answer for me to is what Shannon just said. How do we expand? Okay, so we've got this group now that you guys have put together. So next year, a hot set of books that we think are appropriate for high school, middle school comes out. What would be the cost for us to expand our, I'll say subscription, if that's the correct title?
There, you can spend as little or as much as you want to. So it's really like up to you. We went very, very big, so you could probably spend, any like from $1,000, a very minimal amount. Now that we've got it started, because some of
Okay.
this is in the setup of it too. If you look at the on this page that you got, some of it is in the setup. But now that it's set up, like just purchasing the books, you could do a smallish amount.
Okay.
And then you could also, expand from there too. So if we found something that we really wanted to get on there, especially in the nonfiction sections, what we really were intentional about with this was making sure that we matched our science and social studies, the concepts that we teach, to make sure that we had a lot of really updated resources for the students in those areas.
You know, as a social studies teacher, that's what I was.
Pardon?
You knew that's what I was alluding to.
Well, the former middle
Yes.
school science and
Yeah.
social studies teacher that, it was always hard when you went to the library and the books that you were trying to do research from were older than you were as a
Yes.
teacher, and you needed.
That's my concern.
Yes, yeah. Or the encyclopedias, and now it's nice because you can do things
who?
on the, yeah. I guess that dated me a minute. But that's what's nice about these two is that, they're ebooks but we can expand that, so
Okay.
that helps.
So, obviously, I think books are awesome and great. That's good. You had teachers on your curriculum committee. What do they think about this?
The high school already had Gale.
Okay.
Okay, so they were already aware. So this is just an expansion for them.
Okay.
So the library, it was more of the LRCs that had the conversation about this. So the teachers are always excited. Oh, they're gone. They didn't get to stay, but we've had. I can't remember the name of it. We used to have something pre-COVID that they really liked where they were allowed to use ebooks. And then we have this fabulous thing from Illinois called SOPA. And that particular program that we were using did not pass SOPA, so we had to get rid of it. And the teachers were, especially elementary, were devastated because it was...
I remember when that happened.
Yes. And so we couldn't use it anymore. So this will be something, I suspect that they will be very happy about it.
So, are they going to help you promote it, or do you have to sort of?
You know what? I haven't even asked them that yet.
Okay.
I think that it'll probably be something that will happen all by itself. But yeah, we have the committees that you guys have approved for me previously, the ELA committee. They're supposed to meet next week. We're on there. I will be here, but I don't think that any of the ELA committee will want to meet next week. So we're meeting in November, and that's on the agenda already for November. So we're gonna talk about it. Mr. Roskovinsky's on that committee with me, and this is one of the agenda items. So we'll talk about it then with that group, and we'll get to really get it out and talk about it and start using it.
Okay, that brings me to my question then, because of the high upfront cost on this, or a reasonable upfront cost on this, and the low maintenance fee of it, what happens, like in 3 years, they discontinue the support of this? I mean, is there a guarantee on the continuity of this, that we at least get 5 years worth?
If I'm understanding correctly, okay, so remember, not technology girl, and I wish Annette was here, because I think that this downloads into our, I think that it's almost like, how when we buy library books, they come onto our shelves. I think there's sort of a technology way that this comes onto our system.
Their server.
Yeah, so I don't know that I'm explaining that in the best technology way, but I think that's how I understand it, is that some of the support is if there would be some glitchiness, but I think that I think that somehow we still have access to them in some form. So I think their support makes it easier for us, but I think that we would still have access to them, because we
Well, wouldn't
talked about that.
Wouldn't it be similar to what we have now with anyone that has an ebook, and we have tons of books out there? They're in a cloud. They're somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter where, Doc, we would be able to pull them up.
Like you download them onto
Yeah.
the device that
Yeah,
you're
you can
using.
just type the name in and it'll come back up.
Yeah. So, but I will find that out too
1,000.
for you. You guys asked a lot more questions about this than I anticipated. So, but I will definitely ask that question too and find out for sure. But I suspect that they're downloaded onto whatever device that you're using or into the classroom. And then it would be
It's
any of the ones
downloaded
that
to
weren't
us.
downloaded that maybe we would lose. But that would mean they probably weren't popular choices. But I will find out for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If there aren't any other questions, we are voting on $122,765. $122,765, the first time cost for ebook collection, Gale ebook collections. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mr. Easton?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mrs. Howell?
Yes.
Elder Parks?
Yes.
Dr. Ashton?
Yes, motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brings us to item number 10. Food service,
Yes.
informational on food service.
Yes, I'll actually do that one. It's unfortunate none of my phone calls were returned as I made the attempt to explain and answer these questions, but I'll do so now. Absolutely, Mr. Easton, when Mrs. Peugeot presented last time, she fumbled in her explanation, and that was the attempt to cover the disciplinary action that happened for someone who was handling the bids. And she didn't know how to answer your question, so that's why you got the 2 and the 3, and I've explained that to you as well. And so she didn't know how to explain that. We received notice from GFS to say we have access to their system, and their notice for their bid response. Simply go into the system and you see our numbers. You'll understand why they gave that response. And so Mrs. Peugeot did what they asked in response to their response to a bid opening. They did so because we later found out that 7 years ago, the food service director signed us up for a co-op. It's called the Northern Illinois Purchasing Cooperation. That didn't necessarily come before the Board of Education, so I'm going to investigate that. But we belong to a co-op, and they handle the bid process for us as they do for the state of Illinois. That bid for the food was given to GFS. That's why Gordon Food answered the way they did.
I'm sorry, Dr. Geddes,
Mhm.
you're using acronyms?
GFS, Gordon Food Service?
Okay, I just need to know.
Mhm.
Okay.
GFS, Gordon Food Service. That bid was given to them by the co-op to which we belong. That's why they responded the way they did. That's why they don't have an official bid. They didn't have to. We actually should not have gone to bid. It would have been great if we had that information from the former food service director, but we didn't. So that's why Zeta went out. So I'm here to say we don't have to go to bid. We belong to a co-op, and they've awarded the bid to Gordon Foods.
Well, we will have to do our homework more on our participation in our co-op, is what we'll have to do.
I'm sure we're tracking down
We are.
why
Mhm.
that was.
And who and where's the paper this time. But I've been speaking to the lady's name, Micheline Piersky, and she made us aware that 7 years ago.
How long are we committed to that?
They're
co-op?
they're pulling all of that as well for us.
So that we know what our commitment is? For
Yep.
how long?
Okay, I didn't hear the answer.
My
I'm
question was, how long are we
sorry.
obligated
No, I
to
knew what
that?
your question, I was asking her.
They're pulling
Okay.
that for us
Oh,
as well.
to find
Mhm.
out, okay. That's what I'd like to know too.
So
Doctor-
GFS didn't feel they didn't feel the need to do anything other because we should not have gone to bid. They already owned it.
Dr. Geddes, can you just, I already know the answer, but can you, because you've told me, can you tell me, or tell everyone why schools go into co-ops?
Sure, because of purchasing power. It's easier for a number of schools to come together and go out to bid because you're buying in larger bulk, larger quantity. You get a better price. And so I'm certain that's why the former food service director joined the co-op, and we just needed the information. We needed to be made aware. But it's for purchasing power. We actually belong to a few co-ops, and I think there's one coming up about energy that we have to consider.
So basically what you're saying is, because there was a change in the administration and there was a breakdown in communication about us being a part of this co-op, we didn't realize that we did not have to bid.
We did not have to bid.
We just put out what we need, and it goes through this agency.
We don't even we don't put anything out. We simply go into the system and order the food through them.
Okay.
They handle the bid process for us.
Okay, it's kind of like our church ran a food pantry. And so we go into East Central Illinois Food Bank, and everything that they have, then when we need it, we just tick it off and say, these are the things that, I'm just trying to get a perspective.
Yep.
This is what happens. We go in and we say, we need green beans, we need blah, 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 we need blah, blah. And so we tick it off like we do for our food bank.
Correct.
Okay, I just
Yep.
want to make sure I'm right.
And so you write the numbers down and here are their prices.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought up Illinois Food Bank because Ms. Peugeot isn't here because we actually, thank you KDBA, had a food bank for our students so that they could actually take food home this evening. And within 1 hour, all of the food was gone. I want to thank Illinois Food Bank for those donations to make that happen just for Danville District 118. Thank you to the Food Service Department for making sure that it was implemented properly. And thank you that they also gave us donations that will go to our homeless closet. We have barrettes, we have sanitary items, we have a number of things, and we'll make sure that the students get that. We gave it to Brandy Kaczewski. So thank you, Illinois Food Bank, and they're actually going to expand that program, and we'll run it again next month. Thank you, Ms. Peugeot.
Was it the Eastern Illinois Food Bank?
Yes.
Okay, because there's Eastern Illinois Food Bank.
Yes.
Thank you. And we've partnered with them several times before, so hope to do so again. They're very helpful to our community, so we appreciate that. I hope that clears up some of that. Wow, that's a long time ago that we had that discussion, but I barely remember having that discussion about food co-op, but and that was the purpose of it, is to go out and get the best price that you possibly can. So thanks for digging that down and bringing that up and bringing that to our attention. Bringing us to any more informational items, number 11?
I have a few. Bear with me. So congratulations. District 118 is a part of the Vermilion County Healthcare Collaborative. Carl spearheads it and acts as the fiduciary agency. But we actually wrote to the state of Illinois to bring some services here to Vermilion County, and we actually received the money. We will be able to provide community health workers, healthy beginnings, maternal and child home visiting, behavioral health and substance use initiatives, increased access through Crosspoint. There'll be some food security initiatives, which include a mobile food pantry on the east side of town, a new grocery store on the east side of town, and a teaching kitchen on the east side of town. The educational component will be that there is a new degree at DAC, and there is a health career fair at Danville High School. And I'm proud to say, when we went for the application, we were able to say that part of it was already in motion. Dr. Maneely was really excited to say, look, we're going ahead with this. Even if you don't give us the money, we're going to do some things. And Danville High School was that flagship to say, we've started it. Side note, that career fair will be held in conjunction with Carl, OSF, and DAC on October 27th in the field house. And for all of my students who attend and you visit 3 booths, Dr. Geddes is going to treat you to Kona Ice, and there'll be a Kona Ice truck out there. But you have to attend and visit 3 booths. We stopped at DAC the other day, and Ms. Paps and I started knocking on the doors in the nursing department, and recruiting students to our to our program. They will be attending. Dr. Knackle, thank you for being so gracious and allowing us to do that. So we have some students coming in from DAC. And for the students that we reached out to last year, Ms. Cherry, my spreadsheet, we were able to call those students back to ask them to come and participate in the health fair. You, my Danville babies, will get first crack at the volunteer opportunities at the New Carl in Danville. So kudos to that crew. And I'm really excited about the grocery store that's coming to the east side of town.
Kona Ice?
Kona Ice.
You mean the shaved ice stuff?
Yes.
That stuff? Let's hope it's a warm day. So you want to have shaved ice, right?
Kids are still eating.
They'll eat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's better when it's warmer. I mean, you don't want it to be like 10 degrees outside and here's my shaved ice. Right? Yeah.
As Dr. McNeely from Carl, thank you. He was really tenacious in getting the information out there and for us applying for this in Vermilion County. And I'm just happy to say that it's coming. Great job. I've told you about the career fair. School clinic. Miss Cherry received a notice from Southern Illinois Healthcare Foundation, and they want to inform us that they have filled the position. Mrs. Nafase, I hope it's Mrs. Nafase Jordan, D&D, F&P, -BC. Please don't ask me what those acronyms are. I do not know. Is the new provider and hopefully moving to town. So we will be doing that, the tour that we do. And she should start in January 2023. We were all set to go at the beginning of this school year, but the practitioner had a family emergency with her child. And so she had to resign the position, and we had to start the search to find someone else. So that was the delay in opening the clinic. But we are ready. And then I just want to say, congratulations to Tanisha Spade, Shade Spain. Screwing up. She was nominated for an Emmy Award. She didn't get it, but one of our own local, and we need to celebrate her. So congratulations, Tanisha.
That's cool.
That's huge. Remember the health fair? And wow, homecoming week, Mrs. Cherry and team.
You mean Queen?
Well, she's the queen, yes.
Yeah.
But her team did a phenomenal job that week. And homecoming went off without a hitch. I have pictures of you really need to see what your line looks like outside. They're so excited. And I'm like, it's freezing and you have on no clothes. They didn't do the beauty of youth. They didn't feel a thing. They were so happy. Thank you for providing that opportunity to the babies. It was a sense of normalcy that they hadn't had in a minute. And we really do appreciate all that you had done to make that happen. Congratulations on being a queen. I love that they wanted to celebrate you before you retired. Fall break is upon us next week. Students and staff, enjoy your break. Come to school on Friday. And then we have students, because I don't want them to get it twisted. We have school on Friday. And then next week, enjoy your fall break.
That's not the first day of fall break?
No. Monday, the 17th,
Okay.
is the first day. Enjoy your fall break. Please be safe and return to me on Monday. Thank you.
Right to left. Board comments. Mr. Easton.
So Ms. Brooks will be happy to hear this. I talked with Chief Yates, Danville PD, and of course I made sure I talked to Dr. Geddes and Dr. Ashton before. I'm not speaking on behalf of the board, but I asked the question about our school zone safety flashing lights to tell you this is how fast you're going, and if you're going too fast, it'll be red, slow down.
I need to make sure that the bus garage is hearing us. There is an issue, and it's called safety. And just because it was they didn't know me from 8. Never asked me for ID again, Mr. Hart. Well, I guess not. We out in the middle of the street. There is a problem. It has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. We can't continue putting kids on buses and this type of thing. If somebody would have called and told me this, I wouldn't have probably believed it. But because I experienced it, we've got to do something. I don't know what it is, but I needed them to know. Dr. Geddes had to hear me fuss because Mr. Charge, you wouldn't answer your phone. But
She has a new number. She has a new number.
I can do Mr. Harlan.
Threw you under the bus.
No. I know why you didn't answer. But no, what I'm saying is it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
And I know as a board we've talked about it, but there has to be something. There has to be something done. I don't know, but it has to. I'm afraid to put my twins on that bus.
That's it.
I am. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Wow.
Follow that, Shannon.
I don't know. So I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Thompson and Ms. Wright of the DEA. I was so happy to hear what's happening across the district and see examples of what's happening in our classrooms. And I appreciate the DEA coming and sharing that with us. And I know we get it from the principals sometimes, and it was just a different take. And I sure appreciate it. It was really nice. And we always love to see what's happening with the kids. And also, sir, I didn't catch your name. Mr. McCrae, Pastor McCrae, I wanted to say thank you for connecting us with U of I, with the trades and crafts, their summer program. I think it's a real need for our students. I know that it's one of you're going to love to connect with Dr. Jacoby of it because I know she loves that too. And just thank you for taking the initiative and doing that. And also, thank you so much for your gracious gift of a $1,000 scholarship toward one of our students. That is, that's incredible, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate it. You're welcome.
I just want to say to the staff at Mark Didman, I had an opportunity to stop in at Mark Didman for the first time. And I want to applaud the staff for the work that they are doing with our young people. I was there on the first day that they brought the ponies in. And those young people were excited. They had in one room, they call them runners. And I didn't know exactly what they were talking about until they pointed out there was a kid running down the hall. They called him a runner. So they had to chase him down and brought him back, and he had an opportunity to be out there with the ponies. And so I applaud them for what they're doing there at Mark Didman. I also asked them to contact me when they got ready to bring the larger horses out because I wanted to be there to see those young people ride those ponies and also ride the horses. So I applaud those persons there at Mark Didman and what they're doing. And I will be going back there when they do call me and let me know. Unfortunately, I also wanted to be there for the reading, but I have to be at a conference. And so I did tell them I'm going to try to get some people to come. And I've spoken with some, and they said that they would be there. So I'll be letting them know that there are some people that will be coming to do some reading there for those young people. So I just wanted to say thank you.
And on that note, to follow up, I'd like to thank Michael Remley and the Gateway Foundation for bringing the program to our district, to be persistent, and he's doing a great job, as you witnessed. So I'd like to thank them. I'd also like to thank Pastor McCrae for your perseverance, because it took some perseverance for you to get here tonight. So thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunities provided our district.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everybody for coming this evening. Couple things I'll say. Now that we are back to some sort of normalcy, I'm gonna, what was published in the Wall Street Journal about how poor performance of some of our states in reading and math. I hope to see our district improve performance. I'm looking forward to this year to focus also on. We have all the focus on lots of other things, but our eyes on the prize is also our academics, and that's why we're here. So, and I know we're all focused on that, and we want that goal to achieve. So I'm really excited for the end of the year to look and see that we have made improvement. I just want to see a positive trend. You know, I don't. A positive trend would be really welcome for our district and here and for the state. I mean, really, I want to see things go upward. So we're glad to put things in place to give everybody the things that they need that will help. Will arm you with all the things that you need to win this battle. Okay, so wish everybody good luck. So with that, we're going to go back into closed session and take care of some other business, and we will close the we will end the open session and see you all later. Thank you very much. Have a very good night. Enjoy fall break.